Y'all, some teams are doing so hot right now that other teams are actually rage quitting the ALGS. Welcome back to Outside the Ring. My name is Shakir. There have been 2 match days since our last episode, and there's only 2 more match days till the regional finals. So let's jump into it. Let's start with Furia because day 7 was huge for them. A first place win, 23 points ahead of the rest that featured 4 podiums and 2 first place victories. In fact, the whole weekend was like a celebration for Furia because on day 6, which was last Thursday, they finished in 2nd place. Now that's a team that we should see towards the top, but remember at the start of the season, it was an abysmal start. They had 18 points combined in their first 3 match days. Last Thursday, they had 21 points, and on this Sunday, they had 25. I did the math, 21 and 25. Bigger than 18. They've jumped from not even in playoff contention after the first round robin to now 7th place in the current overall leaderboards. They might just be peaking at the right time, but I don't know. Let me know down in the comments below whether you think Furia can keep this up. Okay, Furia is number 1. Here are the rest of the day 7 results. And by the way, like and subscribe if you're enjoying the episode so far. Not necessarily the favorites at the top of the scoreboard. HEC, Dark Zero, and Tripods. That's your top 4. No, the favorites were further down. Team Liquid and TSM basically took each other out. They finished in 7th and 8th. And Complexity, they're out of the top 10 yet again. Whatever was working for them in the start of the season, clearly it's behind them now. Cloud9 announced their exit from Apex Legends earlier this week. They're joining teams like XSET, Renegades, Atlanta Premier, Team Liquid, who have all left the sport recently. A lot of fans are really worried about this. Cutnoid, you joined me on the show here. You're not that worried about it. Why?
So I think the main thing to keep in mind is that we've had teams leave recently, which is important to note, but we've also had teams join. And I think, you can point to FaZe, you can point to Nick Merckx even joining the scene. Those are big names that have come here for good reason. And I think that ultimately, the fans and the community are what keep this scene afloat. But as long as we have the support from the fans, as long as we have the stream numbers high, the viewership high for big events and for these individual streamers, I think we don't have too much to worry about in terms of ALGS or Apex Esports sort of falling off or becoming quote unquote dead.
Mentioned some of those new teams. Another one of those new teams, the Guard, who have obviously been super incredible this season. So here's the $1 million question for you. Do you think Apex is trending in the right direction?
So it's tough to categorize trends in ALGS because, year 2 was just last year. And that was the first, official full league from end to end. The first sort of, year 1 was broken up by the pandemic. But year 2 was strong when it came to viewership. Split 2 playoffs and champs, they were both, peaking at over 600K across all platforms when it comes to viewership. So I think the real test will be year 3 playoffs and then the championship and see if we can kind of compare the numbers from last year and this year. They'll be, sort of equal in terms of them being on LAN and similar prize pools. So, again, all the Apex Esports doomers will have to wait till then, in my opinion, before we can really, categorize this as a dead scene. But I don't really see the league trending anywhere but up as far as the time being.
Those Apex Legends doomers they can sit down for the time being. Split 2 playoffs, by the way, 676K views. Champs had about 630K views on average for both of those 2 streams, up from Twitch Rivals in 2019. So what's causing all of these teams to leave if there seems like there's such an upward trajectory? And what's missing in the scene overall, you think, that'll get us that growth in year 3? Yeah,
I mean, so this whole sort of doom and gloom started, I think, back in around September. That was that Jake Sucky tweet when he tweeted out those rumors or his inside information about the ALGS teams and the org skin negotiations, and that they weren't offering rev share for teams or players. And then we had the announcement from Renegades, and I actually reached out to Madness around that time. He basically confirmed it, saying EA cares more about maximizing profits than keeping orgs in the league. The consequences from this ultimately fall on the players, unfortunately. Some players, they were once a part of an org getting a salary and now they're not. So
which free agent team stands out the most to you?
I mean, it's got to be HEC. You know, I realize I'm on a Laner Premiere show talking to someone who's a member of AP. You know, but they've been just really stellar these past couple weeks, especially these past couple weeks, and it's hard for fans and people like me to ignore them. But also shout out to MPS and Season, they're up there as well. And anytime we see teams in the top brackets, that's a good thing, in my opinion. That's kind of one of the special things about Apex Esports is that we have this sort of open, non-franchise league where like literally anyone can work their way up the ranks.
Well, Cutnoid, you're a reporter and a creator within the Apex scene. Where can people find you?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Cutnoid. That's where I do most of my reporting and most of my just content curation in general. You'll see my videos there. I also started a YouTube channel recently, so putting more long form, ALGS recaps there. So yeah, if you guys are interested in that stuff, check it out on YouTube and Twitter.
Thanks for your time, brother. Okay, just 2 more match days left before the regional finals, so here's what to look out for. Team Liquid and TSM obviously leading the way, but the Guard and Luminosity aren't far behind. They could make this a 4-way shootout ahead of the regional finals. Teams like HEC and Furia are clearly lighting it up right now. These last 2 weeks, that's where they show if they're real threats or just one-hit wonders. And towards the bottom of the scoreboard, Optic Gaming, Cloud9, Sentinels, this is their last chance to make it to the regional finals. They've got to put it all on the line here, or we'll be sending them home a little bit early. Well, that's all for this episode of Outside the Ring. Everything only ramps up from here. Days 8 and 9 are next week, and the regional finals wrap up on December 18th. It's going to get spicy.